The final race of the weekend for the Protyre Motorsport Ginetta GT Championship is about to get underway, because if you turn your attention away from the pig farms to the circuit, Ginettas are heading to the grid. The Ginetta G56s for this third race of the weekend for these cars. Mckenzie Douglass there on pole position has been the dominant driver thus far, because he's won both races. He's had 9 wins this year within the championship, which he now leads pretty convincingly from Luke Garlick, who will line up on the outside of the second row of the grid there, number 71. The other man on the front row, Nick White, there, number 57, has now had 14 AM class wins. In other words, beaten only once over the course of the season. All of these cars, of course, the same. Everybody with the same base car. They're run by different teams, but everybody starts with the same base model, the Ginetta G56, these 3.5-litre Ford V6 engine cars. They can top 140 miles an hour, weigh in about 1,240 kilos. It will be a rolling start at the end of the formation lap, which is imminent. I think the grid is complete. Everybody is there. So in a moment or two, the cars ought to be released onto this last opportunity to get a bit of warmth into the rubber then. The fans that have treated themselves to some motorsport action before football later on, all good to go. And there the grid with, at the very back of it, Peter Mangan, number 22, who got tagged into a spin in the race yesterday by Jimmy Broadbent, who ended up in an incident with Alex Toth-Jones in the earlier race today, and then had his own spin. He will drive number 56, new to the championship, even though he's done quite a bit of racing. These are new cars. There he is, getting away Jimmy Broadbent now as the field of left and right-hand drive G56s weave their way down through Riches, getting a bit of warmth into the tyres, ready for 20 minutes of racing. That is the time allocated, and 10 laps we've had over the course of the previous 2 races, with Connor Garlick, that you'll find in number 63, the rather unlucky recipient of penalties across both races for track limits, so his race results compromised in both of the earlier 2 events. This is the grid. Mckenzie Douglass up from the Junior Championship on pole, Nick White with him at the front of the grid. Matt Shaw, Luke Garlick, the second row, and then row 3 will be the aforementioned Connor Garlick and Harry Mangan, son of Peter, who's a bit further back on the grid. Alex Toth-Jones starting 7th alongside Morgan Short, one of the 2 Short brothers within the race, both sons of GT and sports car racer Martin Short. Jimmy Broadbent is 8th, sorry, he's 9th, I should say, ahead of Marcus Short, and then Peter Mangan rounds out the grid. It's a shame that a few more aren't tempted into this championship, because these are good, rapid sports cars. They're a challenge to drive as well. They're designed to be slightly leery and make the driver work, and anybody that races them always comes out with a big grin on their face. But this year the entry not as vast as Ginetta would like. That's not to say that the racing hasn't been keen. Race wins split within the main category, really across Mckenzie Douglass, who's done the bulk of the winning, but also to Scott McKenna, who's missing this weekend's activity, and the Garlicks as well. Luke and Connor have both been on that top step of the podium over the course of the year as well. So the field working its way up onto Bentley Straight. They will get themselves around to the start line, but this time they don't stop on it. It's going to be a rolling start, so the pace car as it is will dive for the pit lane, and then we will be in business for the final 20-minute race for the Ginetta GT Championship. We've got the juniors and the GT Academy to come as well. And so as they head down that back straight, getting some warmth into the rubber, Mckenzie Douglass, the man to beat, and the way that he's gone this weekend rather suggests that another victory, a 10th of the year, is on the cards here. He really has been very, very tough to stop. Matt Shaw just getting out of shot, number 33 in the red and yellow car. He won the AM class at Alton Park at the start of the year, but ever since then, after that first race of the year, it has been Nick White, last year's Academy champion, who has been the man to beat, and absolutely unstoppable now, with a victory in every race, bar the one at the start of the year. So 13 class wins have gone his way now, and a very, very dominant man he has been within the category. So just 1 win for Matt Shaw, Nick White having scooped honours every time out since then. Down they come then towards the Coram right-hander, then towards turn 12, and at the end of this we will be in business then. Mckenzie Douglass, the man on pole position. In that earlier race that we had today, it was Nick White who did the chasing. Let's see what he can do here as the cars now make that run up to the timing line. 57 on the outside line is Nick White. On the inside line, the pole position driver, Mckenzie Douglass. A second row, 33, Matt Shaw, who had mechanical dramas in yesterday's race. Alongside him in the black car, Luke Garlick. Matt Shaw out of position a little bit there, trying to creep up the middle as the lights change and we go racing. They blast away, then up towards turn 1 at Riches. Mckenzie Douglass making a good getaway, and Matt Shaw still a bit hemmed in as you go on board with Harry Mangian. Shaw to the right, Luke Garlick ahead. They swing through that right-hander still side by side. It's like a rolling stone all the way up the run to the hairpin, isn't it? Because nobody really being able to gain a proper advantage. Mckenzie Douglass, though, has track position on the inside and will get the lead coming off the corner. Powers away as they sprint now on towards turn 3 for the first time, and it is Mckenzie Douglass then up front from Nick White in second place, Matt Shaw third. And there, a little bit further back in 5th place, Harry Mangian then is ahead of him. Luke Garlick goes one side and then the other. Matt Shaw in 33, the biggest rival to 57, Nick White. Luke Garlick full send up the inside, goes by. Good pass that, really brave and committed. Saw an opportunity coming through the car from one side of the road to the other. He has gone by as Mangian steps up the curb on the exit of Agostini at turn 4. And that means that on the inside, Connor Garlick, 63, goes ahead of him. So Harry Mangian running out of road and very nearly being in jeopardy from Alex Toth-Jones, but Mangian back on the inside of Connor Garlick, who goes a little bit wide coming out of Oggy. Is that for Williams? Right-hander puts Mangian up on the inside. Garlick ahead, but he's on the outside line. He might just run out of traction to an extent. He's going to run out of road, that's for sure. Drifts out wide, and so Harry Mangian with a better run off the corner comes up alongside him. Alex Toth-Jones there in the blue car tries to make it 3 wide. Look, going now down to the S's for the first time, and Toth-Jones on the very inside ought to be able to make a move under braking, which he does. He gets ahead of both of them. Really good effort that. 2 places gained under braking. Alex Toth-Jones goes by. This is back on board with Mangian. Into Bombhole, turn right, on the left, on the outside line there, Connor Garlick trying to hang on to his place, but Alex Toth-Jones, brave stuff that, 2 places gained under braking, and not only is he past them, he's pulling away a little bit as they come now through Coram. Race leaders make the run up towards the timing line, and yet again, Mckenzie Douglass is the man in charge. Nick White runs second, Luke Garlick third. They flash past the pits with, in 4th place then at the end of the lap, Matt Shaw. There he is, number 33, so he's dropped back a little bit from where he was on the grid. Alex Toth-Jones, though, going very nicely for 5th place. And then in 6th, it's Connor Garlick. In 7th, Harry Mangian. And 8th is Jimmy Broadbent, who, with every passing lap, gets more and more confident in these cars, and he's staying with that leading line this time around. He's keeping Morgan and Marcus Short and Peter Mangian behind him. This is Harry Mangian's view out of the Wilson hairpin now. Up front, Mckenzie Douglass, though, leads the way. And as they come down towards Agostini, Mckenzie Douglass, Nick White, Luke Garlick, the top 3. Now, Alex Toth-Jones might not necessarily be able to hang on to 5th place for much longer because he's got a hard-charging Connor Garlick behind, and behind him, Harry Mangian. Garlick, though, is going to be careful of track limits. That's been his real undoing over the course of the previous 2 races. Let's see what he can do here. He's running 6th on the road. Harry Mangian right there behind him as Garlick runs a little bit wide up the curb, coming out of turn 5. Race leader Mckenzie Douglass, though, already heading on to Bentley Straight. And for 2nd and 3rd, Nick White under attack from Luke Garlick. Mangian goes through, Mangian Jr. that is. And he ought to be somebody to watch here. It's a surprise in a sense that he's not been able to make more progress, but it was a little bit this way in the earlier race today. Drivers that you would have thought would have battled their way up the order, Luke Garlick being one of them, really seemed to plateau. It's a bit the same in the following junior race as well. Right now, though, for 2nd and 3rd places, 57 it is, that being Nick White hanging on to the position, and while he's defending like this from Luke Garlick behind him, so the race leader is getting away. Mckenzie Douglass building that gap all the time up front. Drop down into that last left, up towards the timing line. They will come in a moment. Mckenzie Douglass, though, getting away up front, building that gap as they come across the line. So Douglass with an advantage now of 1.5 seconds, clearing the lead. There, 2nd is Nick White, and then 3rd, not that far adrift, Luke Garlick, who thinks about a move on the inside. Nick White realising that he doesn't necessarily have to defend because he wants points within the AM class, but equally, as there, Toth-Jones gets himself back on the inside to fend off the challenge of Conor Garlick. The downside in all of this for Nick White is that if he were to let Luke Garlick go, he might drop into the clutches or give a chance to Matt Shaw. So he needs to try and keep that buffer of an extra car between him and his class rival. 5th place then in the background, Alex Toth-Jones in the blue car, Conor Garlick behind him. Alex Toth-Jones, who came out of Ginetta G20s through into Porsche Caymans, as well as Ginetta G56s. So he's done quite a bit of racing in different categories over the last few years, and now makes that run once more up towards the left-hander of Hamilton. But Conor Garlick, normally quick, struggling to find a way past. The Snetterton 300 lap is interesting depending on who you talk to about its ease of overtaking. Some drivers say you can't overtake through this infield and you have to bide your time, and then from this point on you can attack. Touring cars seem to be able to attack anywhere, so the nature of the car, I think, has quite a lot to play, and that infield section doesn't necessarily lend itself to a GT-style car like these. Having said that, if the real commitment is there, you can have a go pretty much anywhere. We are getting driving standards flags already, and it is to Luke Garlick, 71, the black car, for track limit abuses. Jimmy Broadbent flicks the car a little bit sideways there out of the S's on this 3rd lap, hustling on now down towards bomb hole. Broadbent up the curb, as you saw. The leader, Mckenzie Douglass, coming up towards the timing line, making life look very easy indeed up front here. Alex Toth-Jones for 5th place, having one of his better showings, certainly at the weekend, but also keeping some of those quick drivers behind him, like Conor Garlick, like Harry Mangian, as they come over the line now. Into the braking zone. Nick White 2nd, Luke Garlick 3rd, and Luke having a look each way to try to find a way past. Matt Shaw 4th there on his own, not being able to go after that leading group, nor can he really do very much about the class leading Nick White either. There's Alex Toth-Jones, and that line behind him, I would offer you, is growing. So Toth-Jones, Conor Garlick, Harry Mangian and Jimmy Broadbent all in a queue now. That leaves you with the Short brothers and Peter Mangian next up. Harry Mangian's Raceway Motorsport car's view down into turn 4 at Agostini here. Bit of a twitch from Conor Garlick ahead. That sends him out a little bit wide, and Alex Toth-Jones given a fraction of breathing space then, as you look at Harry Mangian going through in 7th place, but not really yet being able to get close enough to the back of Garlick to have a proper move. Mckenzie Douglass, though, in the meantime, in this situation of being the dominant driver in the championship, but perhaps would like some more opposition just to see how good he is. You can only beat the people you're up against, but he's made short work of the opposition, not only here, but over the course of 9 races, 9 victories he's taken this year. That's the equally dominant AM, if not more dominant AM, championship leader Nick White. He leads on the road in the race. He's had now 13 class wins as the car swoops its way through that long right of Coram, and now down into turn 12 out of the left, back on the power up towards the line. There you've got Conor Garlick still, Luke Garlick I should say, still chasing on behind in 3rd place. Conor Garlick is still stuck in 6th behind Alex Toth-Jones, as now maybe Luke Garlick gets a little bit nearer. There's a track limit warning to Conor Garlick as well now. Also, Morgan Short picking up a warning. But the race leader, Mckenzie Douglass, out on his own up front right now, making that run through the Wilson hairpin once again. And Matt Shaw in 4th place. I just wonder whether he might be getting any quicker. His lap times are, but he's not really closing on these two. And just to prove how evenly matched Nick White and Luke Garlick are, their last lap was exactly the same to the 1,000th of a second, 2 minutes 1.097, recorded by both of them. Alex Toth-Jones in the meantime, Conor Garlick behind him now, alongside him pretty much on the outside, down towards turn 4. Looks for a way around at Agostini, can't do it. Harry Mangian trying to buy into it as he sees now Conor Garlick up the inside, heading into Hamilton. Job done, through he goes. Conor Garlick grabs the place on the inside and takes 5th spot away from Alex Toth-Jones now, and that gives Mangian renewed hope. He might be able to do the same, he thinks. So Conor Garlick gains a place, but needs to be careful again. He's had this track limit warning. Coming on to Bentley straight now. Alex Toth-Jones behind in that largely blue car. Then the blue and orange livery is that of Harry Mansion. And Jimmy Broadbent is next. This is Broadbent's view down towards the S's now. Jimmy Broadbent for the Xentek Motorsport team. He had a bit of a tangle with Alex Toth-Jones in the earlier race today. And already the time penalties are coming, and it is again for Conor Garlick. Number 63 gains 5-second penalty. We're just about at the halfway point as well, but the danger is with still another 10 minutes to go, he can rack up more offences and then yet more penalties. On board here with Jimmy Broadbent coming up towards the line. So Conor Garlick 5th on the road, then Toth-Jones, then Mangian Jr., then this man, Jimmy Broadbent, who might be able to have a go at Harry before the end of the race. He tangled with his dad Peter yesterday, did Jimmy, but let's see what he can do against Harry Mangian now on the run up towards Wilson. He's close enough, I think, to possibly have a go. Thinks better of it. Mangian in turn right there on the back of Alex Toth-Jones. Through the hairpin now. The way that he's going, though, you would think Jimmy Broadbent had raced the cars all year. He's doing a very, very good job. The pace has been getting better and better over the weekend. He's close again to Mangian, but not quite able to think about a move up the inside. So Conor Garlick, having got himself up past Alex Toth-Jones, now trying to get away. And in so doing, therefore try to overcome that 5-second penalty that he's already managed to accrue. Back on board with Broadbent. At the end of Bentley Straight, Mckenzie Douglass then into the second half of the race. 8.5 minutes still on the clock. Comes into the S's. Getting away easily once again from Nick White, who in turn is keeping Luke Garlick at bay. And there, Conor Garlick accelerating his way now down through the S's. A little bit further back, Jimmy Broadbent still pressing on, closing again onto the tail of Mangian. This is Broadbent's view through Coram. So the race leaders go by. Mckenzie Douglass with 7 3/4 minutes on the clock now. So Nick White comes out of the hairpin. Luke Garlick still pressing on behind him in second spot. And then Conor Garlick's penalty is going to drop him a long way down the order at the end of the race. It won't be applied until the very end. But Conor Garlick right now, if you add the 5 seconds on, is going to be very possibly 9th rather than 5th, which is where he runs. There he is in the white car coming into view, but he's going to drop behind all of that traffic. Toth-Jones, Mangian, Broadbent and Morgan Short. Staying with him, in fact, in this race. Morgan, as Broadbent has a go on the inside of Mangian. Contact between the two. And around goes Harry Mangian. Jimmy Broadbent has been vigorous in his efforts to get past Mangians this weekend. He got into a tangle yesterday with Peter and got behavioural warning points, and he's just turned Harry around in the third race. So he's not on that many friends, possibly, in Ginetta racing for his forceful style. There was an effort made, but he was never really alongside, and yet again, I'm afraid, contact is the result. Meantime, for second and third, Nick White and Luke Garlick make the run down Bentley Straight. And has Harry Mangian got going again? I think he might have done. No, the car's still stranded. So he's trying to get the car fired up. Quite often, given the temperature of the car and the engine, it just needs 30 seconds or so to have a bit of a cool, and then you can restart it. So the clerk of the course will keep an eye on this rather than throwing a safety car instantly. They'll give the driver time in race control to try and get the car moving again. Meantime, second and third swoop round Coram. Here's the replay. So Jimmy Broadbent went for a dive up the inside, and as Harry Mangian turns into the corner, Jimmy Broadbent into the side of him, and we in fact will get a safety car. Harry Mangian has not got going. Here it is again from on board. Bang. Harry Mangian spins, and the safety car will scoop them up. This was how Mangian saw it. Around down he went. Not a happy man at all. So it's quite a hefty whack, that, and the car does not want to get going. So they've given him time to try to restart it. The car doesn't want to play, and therefore the race neutralised. Safety car for Harry Mangian. So the field slowly circulates, making its way up through the Wilson hairpin. 5 minutes on the clock. All of this, of course, does count within the race duration. So it might only be one more racing lap at the end. It rather depends how swiftly Harry Mangian's car can be moved. It's near the paddock, so in a sense, as long as there's a recovery vehicle there, it shouldn't take long to get it back out of harm's way. And Jimmy Broadbent into the pit lane. So I think the biter bit there, he's picked up some damage. And so Jimmy Broadbent, having been involved in that accident with Harry Mangian, now into the pit lane. And the team assessing the damage, see whether the car goes back out again or not. There's not a huge amount of energy around that. The recovery vehicle has arrived to pick up Harry Mangian's car. And none of this, of course, is good news for Conor Garlick, because with everybody being bunched up behind him, the 5-second penalty is going to drop him a long way down the order because all the gaps have disappeared. So there are more cars within that 5-second time period. Back into the race will go Jimmy Broadbent. Now, he has dropped a lap, has he not? Or maybe his pit is before the timing line. Yeah, I think he should go back onto the lead lap when he makes his way out of the pit lane, which he's now done. Yeah, so he, as long as he can catch the crocodile, is on the lead lap and should be able to fight for positions again. Leaders go on to Bentley Straight. 3 3/4 minutes to go. And the safety car trying to go at a slow enough pace so that there will be a racing lap at the end of this. So fingers crossed we will get a racing lap. Otherwise it's going to be a ceremonial finish up to the flag, which the drivers at least get to race to the end rather than crawl over the line behind the safety car. But at the moment they would like a proper racing lap in full. Mckenzie Douglass then, aware that the advantage he built up has disappeared, but shouldn't be a concern. He can do that again, build up that gap if it's just one more lap. The safety car slowly makes its way down towards the S's. So with a flying lap being a 2 minutes 3, we've got just over a lap time left in the race, but ideally it isn't just a case of when the safety car gets back to the pit lane, it's whether the road is clear around the circuit, and the answer is yes, it is of a car at least, because Harry Mangian's car now driving off the road. So hopefully the safety car can peel in this time. The car off the road, we need the recovery vehicle gone, we need the marshals behind the barrier as well. And the lights are out on top of the safety car. So it will be in this time for one lap. So Mckenzie Douglass then edging left and right, trying to generate the tyre temperature and pressure once again, ready for the resumption of the race. Comes through Coram. Behind him is Nick White. And there will be less than a lap time left. It will be the last lap as they accelerate then up towards the line. So we go racing once more. It's going to be a 9 lap and not a 10 as away they go. And Mckenzie Douglass blasts past the pits now then, with Nick White having dropped back on that restart. And there Conor Garlick absolutely determined to try to find a way up past Matt Shaw. Luke Garlick to the inside of Nick White on the restart, dives up the inside and goes through, I think, on the inside line there. Let's see who arrives at the Wilson hairpin ahead. Yep, he's done it, he's gone by. So Luke Garlick through up into second position. And down to third, therefore, falls Nick White. And all of a sudden, this makes the AM battle look quite interesting, doesn't it? Because it puts Matt Shaw in 33 right on the back of Nick White. So there's a chance of a class battle on this last lap. Down they go towards Agostini. And this final race of the weekend for the Protyre Motorsport Ginetta GT Championship has there Conor Garlick on the outside of Matt Shaw. Alex Toth-Jones trying to fight back on the inside in 33, and he gets into the back of Matt Shaw, does Conor Garlick, number 63 there. Contact between the two. Matt Shaw hung onto the slide pretty effectively because he was being given quite a push there as the car came out of the Agostini left-hander. Alex Toth-Jones thinks about making a move against Garlick as well. Right there behind the pair of them, it is Morgan Short. And remember, Conor Garlick gets this 5-second penalty at the very end of the race. He's on the outside line, the car twitches, it's up the curb. Alongside him comes Alex Toft-Jones now as they make that run once more down Bentley Straight, heading into the braking zone for the S's. And as they get to the corner, Conor Garlick is under attack from Morgan Short, who all of a sudden is going great guns there in the wheel tracks. Alex Toft-Jones falls back behind Garlick, so the effort to get through didn't work, but he's now got 88 Morgan Short right behind him. Into the right they come, this time the bomb hole. It'll be the final time as well, because we've almost hit zero. They will do so as they get towards turn 12. Toft-Jones, Morgan Short, that could go all the way to the wire, actually, looking at the pace of Morgan Short. But Mckenzie Douglass is going to make it 3 from 3 this weekend. Absolutely dominant as he comes across the line. It's going to be a race win to a delighted Mckenzie Douglass. He wins 3 out of 3 for Fox Motorsport here. Second goes to Luke Garlick, then Nick White third, but he takes a class win. Fourth is Matt Shaw. Fifth is going to be Alex Toft-Jones. Sixth, Morgan Short. Seventh, Marcus Short. Eighth, Peter Mangian. Ninth, Conor Garlick. And 10th is going to be Jimmy Broadbent in the end. So that's the order as they come across the line. And a correction, Jimmy Broadbent is 9th ahead of Conor Garlick for 10th place. There was just the 5-second spread over Jimmy Broadbent's time past the flag as well. So Conor Garlick with 3 races and time penalties in each, ending up in 10th spot. So it's a pretty frustrating weekend for him, to say the very least, but others were able to get through without dramas on the track limits. And Mckenzie Douglass then takes that race win, as he won this morning, as he won yesterday, and getting ever closer to a championship. He came from Ginetta Juniors into the GT Championship at the back end of last year, and was on the podium at that final round. And the intention, the career aim, to win this championship and then to try to make a career out of sports car endurance racing. And he's going the right way about getting onto the Le Mans 24-hour grid. So 3 out of 3 from Mckenzie Douglass, with Luke Garlick the runner-up. Nick White third this time, but taking another class win ahead of category rival Matt Shaw, then Alex Toft-Jones, and Morgan Short rounding out the top 6. 7th, Marcus Short, I should say, ahead of Peter Mangian. Then Jimmy Broadbent in 9th after his pit stop. Conor Garlick's time penalty not helped by the safety car, so he falls to 10th. And the one that triggered that safety car by not being able to restart after being biffed into the spin, Harry Mangian. He's the retirement. So, quick look at the best bits of that race that began with Mckenzie Douglass converting pole position into the race lead. Nick White on the outside as they sprinted down towards turn 1. Luke Garlick going around the outside of Matt Shaw and giving himself a place on the run up towards Wilson for the first time. Mckenzie Douglass then conscious of where Nick White was, but knowing also that he had the better line going into the hairpin. And as they came out of the corner, the race lead was his. It was a lead he was not to lose as Luke Garlick made his move on the inside of Matt Shaw for 3rd place, and he went by Conor Garlick at 63, busy battling with Harry Mangian, who ran out wide. Mangian had more drama late race when Jimmy Broadbent did this to him, and where Mangian's car couldn't restart, the safety car was called to drag it out of the way. On the restart, Luke Garlick made a big dive on the inside to go 2nd into Riches. He came out of the corner ahead and therefore took 2nd place, Nick White 3rd, but another AM win, that making it 14 out of 15 for Nick White this year. And Mckenzie Douglass took a 10th victory outright. The dominant man for Fox Motorsport, and that increases the lead in the championship. Mckenzie Douglass has absolutely blitzed the field this weekend at Snetterton in the Protyre Motorsport Ginetta GT Championship. 3 races, 3 wins for Mckenzie Douglass.